You ever been destroyed, like physically, emotionally, Will Smithardly? Well, have I got the show for you. And no, it's not Clanad. Golden Time. This show's been out for 9 years now. It came out in 2013. But I recently watched it for the first time. Much like with Angel Beats, that video up there. This show is one that I've heard about for a long time, but never really got around to watching it until recently I finally sat down and decided, you know what? I'll give it a try. It was one of those ones where I pulled it up and saw that it was 24 episodes, and it's like, okay, that's going to be a little more of a commitment than, say, a 12-episode show that I could binge in a day. But I started, and once I started, I did not look back, because this is one of those shows where it's like 24 episodes was not enough. Although by the end, I'd say it was enough. But there definitely hit a point when I started this show, I was like, well, I'm only like 9 episodes in, and I feel like a lot of these episodes are like the end game or stuff like that. And it was like that, and I was like, we're only 12 episodes, 15, 12, and it's over. Either way, I'm jumping ahead. I'm going to try to keep this review slightly spoiler-free, just as spoiler-free as I can, just because, much like with my Kaguya-sama video, this is one of those shows that you need to experience with no spoilers, no anything. Again, much like with Angel Beats, I was very lucky to come into this completely spoiler-free. The most I knew is I've seen pictures of the main girl, Coco, and I knew about the show Golden Time, but I didn't really know exactly what it was about. I knew that it was kind of sad, not much else really past that. But either way, what is Golden Time about? I'll give a brief synopsis, I guess.
Golden Time
Follows the main character of Tara Banri as he's going into law school. Right away, that's something that really caught my attention because, you know, most anime take place either in high school or anything like, you know, lower grades and stuff like that. But this one was one where it's like they're in college. Different change of pace, I like that. But right away, you're introduced to his friend Mitsuo. Struggled on that one a bit. Pretty much right away you're introduced to the dynamics of everybody. You meet Mitsuo, and Mitsuo is all of a sudden met by this girl with beautiful orange hair carrying a bouquet of roses, who just comes up and just slaps him with the roses. Because the story there is that the girl, Coco, has been childhood friends with Mitsuo, like ever since they met in school, and she was dead set since they met that they were gonna marry each other. And of course Mitsuo doesn't want that because he just doesn't like Coco, and he's just like, I want to make my own, like, I want to let me live my life. I'm not gonna be bound to you. Spoiler warning for this next part. But through Banri also meeting Coco, the two of them slowly form a bond through one another, and helping Coco like slowly let go of this want for Mitsuo, and of course like they eventually split off, and then Banri and Coco eventually become really good friends, and then eventually end up together. And that's all by like episode 6 out of 24. That's something I really appreciate in romance stories and anime and whatnot, is when the romance just kicks off once it just goes right into it. We're not taking the whole show to really build to it. And that's pretty much as far as I can go in terms of explaining the story, because the rest of it should be experienced through watching it for the first time. Because, my god, there's very few shows that I watch that I really am able to personally relate to. Like, there's obviously like characters and whatnot where I can have sympathy and whatnot, or be like, oh, I've been there, man, it's alright. There's rarely been a show in which it's like certain circumstances and things that have happened where it's just like, wow, I could insert myself into Banri's shoes many times and be like, I've been in that exact situation many times. And that's honestly part of why I really loved this show. Was just, this show never really got me to a point where I was like really emotional, like crying and bawling, not like Clanad. It had those Clanad vibes where it was just like, this is gonna be a romance story that hits me hard. All the characters in this show, they have like their tropes and whatnot, but in terms of how the story progresses and goes about, they all work in their own way. Like Banri, Coco, Mitsuo, 2D-kun, they all work in progressing the story in their own ways, and ways that feel natural. Banri especially, like, he was a character, he's our main character, so it's like there's some dullness, but there was never really dull moments with him. Like, again, without getting into spoilers, there's a huge story beat with Banri that goes throughout the whole show, where it's like, it's intriguing, and there's so many points when, like, I found myself being like, I want that thing to happen to you, but like at the same time I really don't, because there was the good back and forth. It was just so well done and handled. Probably once I got like halfway through the show, I was already pretty much set on. It's just like, yeah, unless it somehow goes downhill from here, 10 out of 10. I will say there is a point in the story, like towards the end, when it does kind of flip out of nowhere, or at least what it seems like out of nowhere. It's not enough for it to like completely just derail the whole story. Like there's still merit in stuff that happens in the turning point. Golden Time is also at the same time kind of a mystery story, because there is like that story beat with Bonri that I talked about. Again, not gonna spoil it, even though they pretty much dive into it right away. It's best experienced through the show. It's a very grounded show for the most part. Like, there's many points when tropey anime stuff happens and you figure it's just like, okay, Coco's gonna get mad, and then like there's gonna be this whole like tsundere thing, but then it's like things just work out. It feels real. Again, and that also comes down to like how I was able to relate to this story being in a similar situation once upon a time. Yeah, Golden Time is just one of those shows where it's just like, it was one season, 24 episodes, and it's done. And I love that. As much as I would want to see more, there shouldn't be more. I mean, I guess on like other stuff, yeah, the animation, the art, composite, like everything in it was really good. Like there were points where it's like, ooh, that was a beautiful shot and everything, but it wasn't what I was thinking about as I was watching. I wasn't really like paying attention too much to the art or the animation. It was just like, it was there, but I was just so enraptured in the story and the characters and everything. It's just like the animation was just a nice bonus. And that's also the thing, it's just like I've realized through really watching like different anime and whatnot, it's like if this story was in live action or just like a typical like drama story, I would not care nearly as much. Like I just wouldn't care. Like if this was like a rom-com movie that like came out, I wouldn't give it the light of day, but since it's anime, it's just like, it's beautiful. I love it. And the voice acting as well in this was amazing. Like voice actor for Bonri and Coco. Like this is a show that you can sort of predict. Like there were many points early on in the show where I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure like these two are gonna end up and whatnot. It's just like, while it does sort of head that way, everything you sort of predict does twist itself in a way which it's like, oh, well, I didn't see that coming. I'll put up a quick thing here. I did like a little bit of a reaction for me of when I watched the last episode. Fuck this opening. But it's a bop. This is my first time actually watching the opening. A lot of the visuals make sense. I thought there was one more episode after this, but it's only 24. No. I look pissed, but trust me when I say I am happy. Like especially when the openings and endings of this show, they did grow on me. Like when I first was like watching them, I was just like, okay. I never watched the first opening because, like, again, I didn't know that Bonri and Coco were gonna end up together. I mean, I had an idea, but the opening pretty much gives that away. I always like skipped it. I listened to it the first time without watching it, and I was like, "This is a good song." Once they finally ended up together, and then I watched the opening. I was like, "Oh wow, I'm glad I experienced that, like, through the story." That's the give and take of openings. Yeah, they're good most of the time. They do have spoilers sometimes. What really threw me off was the second opening. It's just like, it was so chilling. Like, there was just something about it. It was pretty, but like, it gave me that like Clannad feeling where I was just like, oh no, shit's about to go down. Like, just the more I listened to that second opening, the more I was just like, nah. And the endings, well, I didn't listen to them as much as because I'm not too much into endings unless they're, you know, like Jujutsu Kaisen endings or anything like that. They were still good. Overall, this show was amazing, and I could not recommend it more. I mean, this is definitely one of those ones, unlike Kaguya-sama, I can't really recommend it to everybody. It's like, if you're not too into like romance, like slice of life, or even like realistic drama type shows, I wouldn't say you're gonna be too into it, but like, I can recommend it more than I can Clannad. Like, I'll always recommend Clannad to those who are ready to experience Clanhead. But for this one, it's like, you're either one of those people that'll be attached to the very end, or you'll watch it and then be like, that was good, and then you'll move on. With me, this is definitely going to be one of those ones that sticks with me for a good long while. And I look forward to revisiting it in the future. So with all that said, I say I give Golden Time a golden 10 out of 10. So that was my review of Golden Time. Thank you for joining me on that. And thank you for putting up with me. You know, I've been gone. I mean, it's going to happen. I'm going to take periodic breaks every once in a while. I'm not going to be full on, like, daily upload just because I don't have that in me quite yet. I don't know if I ever will. I'm uploading when I feel like it. Like, this is still really fun. Videos will come out when they come out. I still plan on doing those Attack on Titan reactions, so be ready for those. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because this channel, it's not going to stop. Unless I drop dead or just lose all creative drive, I refuse to stop. I stop fully, I mean, like, you know, breaks are healthy. I've just been focused on a lot of stuff recently, like I've been getting some good headway towards the end of my story that I've been writing for years, as well as I've really been focusing on binging Dragon Ball again. I'm gonna make a video on that pretty soon, but since the new movie, Superhero for Dragon Ball Super is coming out soon, I've been re-binging all of the Dragon Ball series. That's been what's taking up the bulk of my time, because you know Dragon Ball is a big series, so I've just gotten to Super. I'm at a point right now where I can ease up a little bit, since the movie is only a couple weeks out from being released here in America, but either way, thank you all for joining me all this time and joining me for this review. I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching.